Do you want to step up your game and increase your skills when building plazas in Planet Coaster? Check out this episode where I am bridging the gap between a Mack multi-launch coaster and the Floorless coaster area by building a small plaza with a couple of thrill rides and some food facilities. Since I'm slowly running out of space in the park, I kept the plaza rather compact using 2 of the thrill rides with smaller footprints so that I am still able to let guests walk on the path in between the 2 rides. Did you know that you can change the ride sequence of each flat ride? To do that, simply go to the ride menu. Click Sequence so that a list will appear with the preset in-game ride sequences. You can either delete sequences or change them depending on how you want the ride to be. It is also possible to add more sequences by clicking Add Animation if you want to increase the duration of the ride. After deciding on where the queue area will be, I then go ahead with adding paths. As usual, when building plazas, I only cover some of the areas with paths. That way I do my computer a favor in making it easier to run the game, as well as leaving space for trees and other scenery pieces. It looks awful for now, but don't worry, I will cover everything with floor tiles later on for more realism. Tips when fencing off queue areas is to sometimes turn the fence upside down. In this case, I find the underside of the fence more visually appealing than the intended top part. This way you get a broader variety of options when building. To prevent loose objects from falling, causing injury to people walking underneath the ride, I covered the walkway next to the ride with a protective roof. This will also act as a cover from the sun during hot summer days. After placing the roof piece, I make sure that the ride has enough clearance before building the rest of the roof structure. To cover the underside of the roof, simply place an art piece by pressing the F key so that it aligns with the correct angle of the roof before placing it at its correct position. It sometimes helps to group 2 or more pieces before duplicating them to save time and to make them align identically to the previous parts. To make the park look more lifelike and realistic, place buildings and facilities at different angles. All buildings aren't built in straight lines or 45-degree angles next to each other. Make sure that there are enough food stalls and toilets in each area of the park so that the guests don't have to run across the entire park to grab a bite. For this plaza, I added 1 food stall, 1 drink stall, and a few vending machines. This should be sufficient for the capacity and duration in which the guests will spend in this area of the park. To hide the paths and their awful-looking gaps and strange edges, cover the entire plaza with a floor of your choice. This makes it look more clean and adds to the realism. To ease the stress on the supports of the ride, I added a concrete foundation. I start by placing 1 piece before placing it on the opposite side. However, since the piece does not fit the grid, I click Split from Building to be able to move it freely. I then click Edit Building with Selected Part to create a new grid. I wanted a ride skin, a roof over the spinning Monte Leon ride, now renamed Snowstorm. I used the same method as I did for my other ride skins, where I duplicated groups and turned them to a certain degree. This method saves time but can be a bit frustrating sometimes. If you haven't watched the previous episode yet, I will put it in the top right corner for you to check out after watching this episode till the end. After building the entire ride skin in an empty plot of land, I then grouped all pieces and moved them to their correct position over the ride. As usual, make sure that the ride has enough clearance under the ride skin. There is still an empty piece of land saved for next episode. I already have plans on what to build, and I can reveal that it will be yet another roller coaster. If you find my content useful, make sure not to miss out on any future episodes, subscribe to my channel and become a part of the Planet Coaster community. With that being said, check out the final result. Thank you for watching until the end. Take care.